Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring people from all across the country right here onto the show to talk to me about cool things we could do right here in New Mexico. On this week's show, we got this.
I say to my patients, never skip a nighttime shower.
All that and more right here on New Mexico Rising. You know, following the excitement of Super Bowl LVII, the spirit of teamwork and community service shines brighter than ever. Kirk Morrison, a former NFL player with the illustrious career on and off the field, has championed the 29th annual kickoff to Rebuild events in Southern Nevada. Alongside Rebuilding Together and Lowe's, Morrison is a dedicated team of volunteers who have made significant strides in revitalizing homes and community spaces, including the Boys and Girls Club of Southern Nevada. This effort underscores a powerful message: the impact of the Super Bowl weekend, which kind of extends far beyond that final whistle and driving positive change in communities that need it the most. So let's welcome to the show Kirk Morrison and Caroline Blakely of Rebuilding Together. Welcome, you two.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. The kickoff to Rebuild initiative and the work being done in Valley View and communities around the country are really benefiting from the work that you guys are doing, even after the Super Bowl. Can you tell us about this?
Sure. Rebuilding Together is a national organization that works year-round across the country to repair homeowners in need. So we go out and we identify neighborhoods and communities that have existing homeowners that may not have enough money to fix up their homes and stay there safely. So we focus on essential repairs for those homes. And with partners like Lowe's, we can go in with volunteers and make a huge difference in their lives.
So what is the importance of making homes safe and accessible to everyone out there?
It's really important for people to feel very safe in their homes. And we find that people want to stay in their communities with their friends and their families. They don't want to go somewhere else. They want to be able to pass that years down to their children, create wealth. And in order to do that, the house has to be standing there and has to have these very critical repairs made to it. And that's what we're all about. With the help of volunteers, we go in, we meet the homeowners, we meet them in their living rooms, find out what they need, and hopefully be able to deliver that.
Kirk, what brought you to revitalizing neighborhoods and what got you involved?
Well, I think when you think about Super Bowl week, it's all about the game itself. But you got to understand that the community of Las Vegas is a rising sports community. And so they were just as much a part of the Super Bowl, but no one talks about the city in terms of the community, in terms of the sporting aspect of people who have already been there, who have lived there. And I thought the attention that was put on for the Super Bowl allowed Rebuilding Together, or allowed a lot of people to see that there's more to Las Vegas than just the Strip, than just Allegiant Stadium. There's also a community of people who want to stay here, who want to live here. Because look, after that Super Bowl, a lot of people are starting to think about Las Vegas and moving here. And so some people say, we're already here, and how do we maintain what we already have? How do we continue to have generations and generations pass along in the home that they already have? But more importantly, the community centers, right? The Boys and Girls Club, the youth centers, to be able to rehab those and allow the next generation of young football fans have a place to go. So yes, being a part of this was a no-brainer. And obviously that's one of the reasons why I partnered up with Rebuilding Together.
What is something that you learned while helping out the Rebuilding Together, or something that has opened your eyes or made you feel a little more about this work needs to be done?
I think honestly, it's just the community aspect of it, of maintaining the community. I think around our country, everybody's looking to build new. And why not rehab what you already have? Why not make the corrections or, make the essential repairs of what you already have? And I think you appreciate it a lot more when you do it yourself and when you maintain what you've already built. And so I think that's what I've learned the most is so many people want to go get the brand new shiny home or a brand new nice car. And man, you put a nice paint job on what you already got, you wax it up a little bit. Trust me, it's just like new.
And Caroline, what are some of the biggest challenges Rebuilding Together faces when like organizing large-scale community projects such as this?
Yeah, we're pretty used to this. We've been doing it for about 40 years, so we've got it down. But certainly, getting into a community, earning that community's trust, getting to know those homeowners, and convincing them, no, we are really here to help. We're not scamming you. We're really here to help. It's free. You just identify what you need, and if we have the resources, we can help fix up your home and let you stay there with you and your family. So the biggest challenge in putting together an event like this is really, we don't have that many challenges anymore. We've done it so many times.
Right.
We have such great partners such as Lowe's that help us with providing volunteers, providing all of the materials that you need to do the repairs. And we actually really enjoy hearing homeowner stories and being able to share those homeowner stories with everyone around the country to understand that existing homeowners need help in keeping up their homes.
So how can individuals or like organizations get involved to help you guys with Rebuilding Together and help support your mission beyond the kickoff rebuild event that we have going on?
Yeah, I would love everyone to get involved. They can go to our website at rebuildingtogether.org. They can learn how to get help if they're a homeowner. They can learn how to volunteer if they wish to swing a hammer or put in a new toilet. And most importantly, they can donate to our cause and give us those essential funds that we need to put right back in the homes of these deserving homeowners.
Caroline, Kirk, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In a world where the extraterrestrial and human race collide, Alan Tudyk returns as the lovably lethal alien Harry in the third season of Sci-Fi's Resident Alien. This season, alliances are formed and new threats emerge as, Harry teams up with General McAllister to tackle those blasted gray aliens, all while grappling with his very first and quite stupid human emotion, love. We got Alan Tudyk here to talk about the new season of Resident Alien. Welcome to the show, Alan. How are you, buddy?
Thank you. I'm great. I loved your intro. That was excellent.
All right, let's talk about bringing this complexity of this character, the behind-the-scenes insights, a little bit of what fans can expect. Over about 3 seasons, your character Harry has shown a little bit of growth. He's gotten a little better, a little kinder, and not trying to kill the people that are like immediately around him right now. So far,
right.
What has been your approach in portraying this like evolution, especially like with these new emotional challenges that Harry's kind of facing in season 3?
Well, it's become easier in some ways. Now that he has emotion isn't so much. We as emotional beings that we are humans. Movement has a lot of emotions in it. We react and act. So you can get, or I could get lost in like, am I being too human here or not? Now he has emotion. Now he's in his teenage years, so I don't have to bother with questions of things. It allows for more freedom in reacting to what's happening. And although he's more on the extreme side of things, he does fall in love, like you mentioned. And it is that first love that, that love. I hope you know that love. I hope everybody's had that where it's just head over heels, impossible love where you can't believe you feel so good. And he has that. And he's such an extreme being. It becomes pretty funny.
You guys work as like an ensemble, especially when you're working with General McAllister and moments with the gray hybrid Joseph. How do you and your co-stars work to create this like dynamic chemistry that you try to bring for the viewers on screen?
That's a lot of that is the writing that Chris Sheridan and all of our writers bring to the show, and so we show up, we're like, oh, we have scenes together, but he's always wanted the show to be not just about one alien guy, that it's about a town of people that an alien happens to live in. So we get to play with each other and act off of one another. And now you mentioned, the gray alien that we have, Joseph, he's a hybrid gray alien. he's he came in last season. He's such a threatening guy. And then once we meet him, he's just as stupid as Harry. He's more equipped for handling human interactions because he's practiced, and that's his purpose on this planet, to fool humans into believing he's a human. But he's an idiot, and we get to see a lot more of his special brand of stupidity. And he's very funny. And then the other alien that comes this season, we have a lot of aliens this season. The other alien that comes is played by Edie Patterson. She's the blue avian that I fall in love with. And she's from Righteous Gemstones. A lot of people know her from that. She's one of the funniest people I've ever met. So it's fun.
I only actually fell into the series a few weeks ago before this interview was even possible. I saw a few clips on Instagram. I was like, what is this? Started watching them, and I fell in love with it. I haven't gotten caught up completely yet, but this is something that it has an extremely hilarious, raunchy alien, and not just the alien itself. The whole world is a little more different. You see, like, there's an alien universe around the humans, but everyone's kind of stumbling through it and trying to figure out what's actually going on. So how did you guys create this? Because I found out that it's actually part of a comic series. How do you like it? And it has a large fan base. How do you kind of engage with the fans and manage to maintain that, I guess, the structure behind it from the original stories?
Right. It was a graphic novel by Steve Parkhouse, and the fans of the graphic novel and comic, I kind of don't know the difference. Sorry, I'm not a good nerd. They've been very great about the show because we changed some things from the comic, the original story. A lot of things are the same, but like the sheriff in the story is a old white guy who's a little bumbly, where we have Corey Reynolds, who plays Big Black, and he's his own kind of bumbling. He's one of my favorite characters in the show. He's just, he's all sorts of full of conspiracy theories and ideas about the world. There's just some differences within it. In the comic, Harry the alien that I play and Asta have a romantic relationship, and we don't have that. We have friends, or as Harry would say, we're friends, but not the sex kind. And that is really kind of how it is. And it's great. You know, we're within the sci-fi community, and people who like comic books and who know the original comic book, they've been great and really embraced what we've done with the show and given it more stories and more exposure.
Alan Tudyk, thanks for joining me this morning. Check out Season 3 of Resident Alien every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on Sci-Fi. And it's always streaming the next day on Peacock.
And Netflix.
Oh, and Netflix. Okay.
Crazy. We're gonna stream on Netflix. We're streaming over here. We're getting stuff everywhere. We're doing a lot of just emotions, lots of emotions.
Alan Tudyk, you're a hero. Thanks for joining me, my friend.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Winter's chill brings more than just the cold. It often ushers in the season of sniffles and coughs for the whole family. And today, Dr. Tanya Elliott shares her expertise on keeping your loved ones healthy. With simple tips and insights from the Sick Day Agenda survey, she's here to help us conquer winter wellness together. Welcome to the show, Dr. Elliott. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Okay, what are some ways to keep everyone in the house healthy this season?
Okay, I'm going to give you 3 really simple tips. Number 1, keep your house a shoe-free zone. People oftentimes don't think about what's on the bottom of their shoes. Well, there's dirt, viruses, and bacteria. So leave them at the front door instead of traipsing all of that into your home. And then similarly, number 2 is shower after you come home from work and hose your kids down when they come home from school. I always say to my patients, never skip a nighttime shower. You really don't want to be sleeping on all these viruses and bacteria, stuff that gets stuck in your hair or on your skin. You want to just wash it off. And then number 3, most of us already know this, but you want to just make sure you wash your hands frequently and thoroughly.
So according to the survey, how are families navigating the challenges of sickness in their homes?
Okay, so a one-poll survey was conducted, and it shows that more than 50% of people will alert their work or their children's school right away. Another 50% of people will monitor for sickness in terms of other family members, seeing whether or not they're going to get sick. And then I actually really like this stat. 71% of people find comfort in shared TV time. So it's like, you know what, we're all sick. Let's just all snuggle on the couch, have some popcorn, watch some Netflix.
So what do you do when the first family member starts to kind of feel unwell?
Well, the survey showed that 70% of people will actually run to the over-the-counter aisles. But if you've been to the over-the-counter aisles, it can be a very confusing place. What should I take off the shelf? When used as directed, Delsum products can provide up to 12 hours of long-lasting relief. So it's helping you to feel better. And then also, don't forget about chicken soup.
All right, where can we go for more information?
They can check out www.delsum.com.
Thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Today we look into the heart of health advancements with Heart Health 2.0, a century of progress, and a look ahead at the next 100 years. So today we're joined by American Heart Association leader Dr. Joseph C. Wu to explore 100 years of triumphs against heart disease and the visionary path forward. He's here to share a little insights on battling heart disease and envisioning a healthier future. Welcome to the show, Dr. Wu.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's a great pleasure to be here.
All right, tell us more about the American Heart Association and the Bold Heart Centennial Celebration.
Yeah, so we're very excited to celebrate our 100th anniversary of this year. The AHA was established back in 1924 by 6 cardiologists, and today it's grown to more than 29 million volunteers who are dedicated to advancing, solving, and curing cardiovascular disease.
So what are some important accomplishments of the past 100 years?
Yeah, so we've made a lot of advancements over the past 100 years. Just to give you some flavors. For example, back in 1950, if you get a heart attack, the chance of dying is 1 out of 2. Today, if you get a heart attack, the chance of dying is about 1 out of 9. So that's a dramatic drop. And in fact, we've been able to cut down the risk of death by about 70%. In addition to that, we have had many advances in medicine, in science. For example, in the areas of interventional cardiology, we have better stents that can pop open the patient's blocked arteries. We have better pacemakers that are essentially the size of a small pager, right? And then we also have medications that can help patients with heart failure, help patients with atrial fibrillation, and help patients with a whole bunch of other diseases that we take care of.
So what are some of the ongoing challenges?
I think there are several ongoing challenges, and I would say the number one challenge is information, meaning that many of our patients actually are still not aware that heart disease is the number one killer. In fact, we did a survey last year, the Harris Post survey, and it showed about 50% of the U.S. population was not aware that heart disease is the number one killer. The problem with that is if you're not aware, you don't know what to do to take steps to mitigate your risk of developing heart disease. And this is something that we at the AHA want to educate the patients to take simple steps that can cut down their chance of dying from heart attack or heart failure.
So how can viewers reduce their risk of heart disease?
Yeah, so I would encourage the viewers to look up our website. It's called www.heart.org. And they are what we call the essential 8. And that is, for example, we advocate our patients to eat better, to exercise more, to quit smoking if they are, to get enough healthy sleep, to manage their weight, to get their blood pressure controlled. About 50% of the population actually wasn't even aware that they have a high blood pressure, to control their cholesterol as well, and then also to control their glucose.
So what are the next steps in fighting the battle against heart disease?
I think probably the number one issue, the threat that we have is the problem of obesity and overweight. About 70% of the population is actually overweight or obese. Overweight is defined as BMI more than 25, and obese is defined as BMI over 30. Because you're either overweight or obese, it puts a lot of stress on the body, and the patients would develop, has a much higher chance of getting high blood pressure, much higher chance of getting diabetes, much higher chance of getting heart failure, and a whole bunch of other medical problems. So if there's a way I can educate or advocate for the patient is go back to the essential 8, take those 8 steps, and that can then help reduce the chance of being overweight and obese.
Well, thank you for joining me this morning, Dr. Wu. Where can we go for more information?
www.heart.org.
Thanks again for joining me, my friend.
Thank you, Dan.
Imagine a New York City where fantastical monsters roam the streets. Well, that's the story behind Monster Club. Monsters take Manhattan. You know, Eric Doodles King navigates a new life in Manhattan while mysterious creatures threaten to turn the city upside down. So joining us today are the creative geniuses behind this adventure. And I also get the honor to welcome one of my favorite filmmakers, Darren Aronofsky. Plus, we have Ari Handel, a scientist turned writer. And those two have been working with each other for about 20 years. Plus, we have bestseller and comedic storyteller Lance Rubin. Welcome to the show, Darren, Ari, and Lance. How are you three?
Thanks for having us. Excited to be here.
All right, Darren, first question for you. You're renowned for your visually stunning and thought-provoking films. What inspired you to transition to the world of children's literature with the Monster Club series?
Well, I wrote a screenplay based on my childhood. I based it in the reality of the childhood, based it off a bunch of the people I grew up with and the schools I went to, some of the teachers I had, added a bit of magic, and then wrote a screenplay. But sometimes you write screenplays and they can't be figured out how to get them made. And then a writer friend of mine who was getting into the movie business asked to read some of my favorite scripts I had worked on. I sent him Monster Club and he said, why don't you turn this into a kid's novel? And I went to Ari with that idea and Ari lit up. And we never loved to have stories that we've worked really hard on just sort of sit on a shelf and collect dust. So we started the long process of trying to figure out how to write a young adult novel. Friends connected us with Lance over here, who had tremendous experience working in that genre, and he gave us many strands of wisdom. And then it came out, and it was successful, and people wanted another one. But now we no longer had a screenplay beneath all of it that we could sort of pull out of. And so we were like, wow, we better get Lance to help us. And so the three of us sat in a room for many hours and came up with the next chapter for Monster Club, Monsters Take Manhattan.
And Ari, with your background in science and storytelling, how did you approach blending scientific elements with the fantastical aspects of this book?
Well, there's not a ton of science, although there is some science
Nail
in
polish
here. There's
remover.
nail polish remover, and some of the kids are kind of science-based, so you know what they like to do. So we drew off of that. But ultimately, storytelling is storytelling. Science has a lot of storytelling in it. People don't always know that, but a great scientist put together strands to tell a story, and I use that part of my brain somehow or other, which I used to do for science, actually works really well in storytelling medium too. So.
And Lance, your books often deal with humor, human emotion. You just recently worked with Rhett and Link to try to put together their book.
Yes.
What themes did you particularly want to explore when you're working on this one?
Ooh, well, I just loved, that it's dealing with that time in a kid's life when you're still doing the childish, well, quote unquote, childish things like drawing monsters with your friends. But then you're starting to age out of that, and some friends are aging out sooner than others. And then so Eric, in our case, a protagonist, in the first book, is trying to hold on to, let's keep drawing monsters. And the friends are like, I don't know if we're going to do that. And there's something about that moment in a kid's life that is so rich, and there's so much to explore there. And then plus these genius creative minds bringing their specific blend of creative visionary to the project. It's just so exciting to work on because you've got the profound nature of growing up, but also all these cool monsters and action, and it was a great blend. It was a joy to work on.
A lot of people that listen to my radio show are filmmakers and creators of their own right. How was it working as a three-person combo to try to put this together? Were there any unique challenges or benefits of combining all three of your backgrounds to try to put together this one book?
I'd say mostly benefits. It was, I feel like we were fortunate that it was a really great creative collaboration. I came in as big fans of them, so I was ready to really enjoy the collaboration, but it exceeded my wildest dreams in the way we were able to the give and take and the flow of it, and just everybody adding their own, special ingredients to the mix. I think it was great. I mean, they might correct me and be like, no, it was terrible.
No, it
what
was
are you talking about?
exactly right. It worked really well.
Well, thank you three for joining me this morning. I want to ask all these questions about the movies, but I can't. I know deep down inside, I just want to say, does he find out the meaning of life right after he puts a drill to his head? That's what I'm trying to figure out for Pi, all right? Oh, look at you, all right? I don't get the answer from that. All right, you got to check it out. Monster Club, Monsters Take Manhattan. It's now available in bookstores everywhere. Thank you three for joining me this morning.
Thanks so much, Dan.
And that is it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. My name is Dan. Hey, if you're in a band, you want to send us your music and show us your music video, hey, we could try to put it onto our show. All you got to do is email me. Tell me. That's newmexicorising@gmail.com. I'm trying to remember what my email is. newmexicorising@gmail.com. Send us your band, your music video, and maybe we get you onto the show. If you're a small business, I can highlight your small business. Let's talk. Email me. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram. We have a big contest coming up for a big movie that we're going to give away some VIP passes to. So make sure you're following us on both social media and Facebook, and we'll tell you which one very soon. That was it for New Mexico Rising. Till next week, that was New Mexico Rising.
Hey Dan, I'm here at Elysium Therapeutics right now. We're getting ready to do a Thai massage pretty soon. This is Ludo, my therapy dog. So I started this business in 2018. I am a licensed massage therapist. I graduated from UTMI. And my specialties are Thai table massage and Ashiatsu.
Transform ordinary moments into extraordinary memories with our magical succulent bar. Whether it's a quiet moment of reflection or a first date, let the enchantment of nature enhance every occasion. Radiate positivity and create manifestations while making your very own magical succulent. Embrace the magic at Zinkstown, where we bring positivity to any occasion.